What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 179 episodes
We've been doing this for a while.
of the Nerd Cave podcast. I am one of your hosts, Derek Diamond, joined along with, as always,
Robbie Rawls.
Robbie. You're finally back.
I have. I know I haven't been back with you yet, but it's nice. Like
It is.
3 weeks I've made an appearance.
That's what we like to call a streak.
I'm like a phoenix. I rose from the ashes
You did.
of not being on the Nerd Cave for like a little over a month. I want to say it was.
Oh, it sucks when life gets in the way.
It does. Luckily, we found someone who can kind of help cover some of the sports events that we do here at Fox Sports, which is where we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, if you
from
notice,
today.
we're not. There's not a
is-
green screen background. We're on location.
This is my second home that I've become to know very well. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. I'm glad to be doing something that I love, which is
Absolutely.
talking nerdy to people.
Yeah, and I've been out for past couple of weeks, but we're back and we're gonna discuss a lot of news has
Lot of
happened
news.
over the last week or
TV,
so.
movie news, big.
All of it. We've got New York Comic Con that's going on. We'll get to that in a second. But you can imagine there was one thing that I geeked out over
I
more
know.
than anything else.
I saw it when I was at school, and I was like, When I'll let you talk about it real quick.
So we know that Wolverine 3 has been in the works for a while now, and it's going to be Hugh Jackman's final time as Wolverine. Well, some more info came out about it a couple of days ago. The poster was released, the title, a little bit of what the movie's going to be about. Basically, the movie is going to be simply called Logan, which I find surprising at first, but then I'm thinking, well, if they're going to base it sort of off the Old Man
Yeah.
Logan story, it makes sense. The poster is of Wolverine's hand with the adamantium claws out, and he's holding the hand of a kid.
Or Deadpool.
Or it could be Deadpool's baby hand. I like to think that's who it is.
It would be.
That would be
hilarious.
fantastic. One interesting thing is you notice the scars and the bruises on Wolverine, and that's because Wolverine in this movie will be older, and he's losing his healing ability. So he's living in a state of chronic pain.
Yeah.
And his cure for that is alcohol. And, he's protecting this kid who is a mutant, much like himself.
Yeah.
Mutant births are very rare in this year. I think it's in 2024 or 2028 when this movie takes place.
Okay.
So mutant births are very rare, and when mutants are born, the government immediately takes them and basically turns them into super soldiers.
Yeah.
So Wolverine takes this kid who has the same abilities as him, except she has 2 claws instead of 3. Wink, wink to the current Wolverine in the comics, who is a female.
Yeah.
Code name, I think, is X-23.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that this is what I think is going to happen in this movie. I think that Wolverine will find out that this girl is cloned from his blood. Did you see Apocalypse? X-Men Apocalypse?
I did not.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I have, yeah.
Well, there was the post-credit scene where this agency comes in
didn't see that, though.
and they take Wolverine's blood from wherever it was that the Weapon X program was based out of. I think he's going to discover that this is his clone, and he will sacrifice himself to save her, and she will eventually take up the mantle of Wolverine.
So she'll call everybody Bub?
I hope so.
I do, too. That would be awesome.
The more I hear about this movie, the more now I'm excited about it. I mean, we're going to have Mr. Sinister, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart's going to be back, which funny thing about him is he's losing his abilities, too. His are becoming more unstable. It's
Yeah.
kind of like he's developing a sense of Alzheimer's, which you can imagine for someone with his abilities.
Yeah.
It has to be pretty scary.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, and you could kill everybody.
And there's a picture that they released of Patrick Stewart, and he looks pretty rough.
He does. And, I thought that not even time itself could age Jean-Luc Picard. That's what I will always call him.
Engage.
But, you see him in this one, and, he is extremely old and just, like you said, rough looking. So, I'm excited for what this movie's going to bring because, we've never really, we've always seen him heal. I know we saw in the last Wolverine movie, they said they kind of took his healing abilities away for a little bit and they came back. But we've never really seen him without them for an extended period of time. And, what better way to cure your ailments than getting drunk all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. This movie is going to be rated R. It looks very dark from the pictures that have been released. There was one that was actually released yesterday of this arm holding a gun, but the arm is separated from the rest of the body.
Ooh, that's sexy.
So it's going to be, I think, the darkest X-Men movie yet.
I'm down for that.
I honestly think, because when I first started reading about this movie, I was really skeptical of it. But the more I hear about it, I think that with this being Hugh Jackman's last time as Wolverine, they are going to go all out with this movie.
With a bang.
We are going to see, insane Wolverine going into berserker mode, killing people. A lot of violence. James Mangold, the director, came out and said that if it's something that will kill someone in real life, then they'll die in this movie. This movie is going to be extremely realistic and logical.
That's good.
Which, you have mutants, obviously, but
Yeah.
like if something's going to kill somebody, they're not going to just get up and walk away from it.
Good.
And I think that's fantastic. They also released the first page of the script.
Ooh.
And the first line of dialogue that Wolverine says in the entire movie is the F word.
I like it.
Just simply that. And it's describing, how Wolverine's older, he doesn't have his abilities, and he's getting taken down by like 5 or 6 people. So even though he's older, he can still go.
He can still hold his own in a fight.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this. It comes out March 3rd, 2017. I will be there opening night for it.
I was about to say, I think all things will stop when Logan comes out.
Yeah. I don't know what else they can do from the Old Man Logan storyline, because I don't know if you've ever read the book.
I have not.
But they don't have access to a lot of the characters. Like Red Skull plays a huge part. Hulk plays a huge part. So does Hawkeye.
Yeah.
All the characters they don't have the rights to. So I think it will be loosely based on that story. I think some of the basic principles will still be in it. But I think they can sub out some of the characters with other X-Men. Like, say, for example, in Old Man Logan, Wolverine's like traveling companion is Hawkeye, and he's blind.
Yeah.
With this, I think it will be Patrick Stewart as Professor X instead of a blind Hawkeye. It will be a mentally unstable Charles Xavier. Because there was one photo they released a little while back, and he looked like very weak and confused. So I think we're going to get a really, really good movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways around, all that. So
I think so too. You want to talk about New York Comic Con?
Let's.
Lot of stuff coming out of New York Comic Con. A show that we haven't really talked about that much on this podcast, but I know we're both huge fans of.
Yeah, definitely.
Stranger Things.
Ugh.
Took Netflix by storm. You finished that in one day.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, I want this show to last at least 2 to 3 days, and I had the entire day off. No school, no radio station, no nothing. I started at 12 o'clock. I ended at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, what just happened? Like, I stopped maybe to get food, and that was it. Like, I was in my room.
That sounds like a great day.
It was so relaxing. As relaxing as watching Stranger Things can be with all the trying to figure out what's going on. But, oh my gosh, was it just such a great show.
It was really good. And season 2 has been confirmed. Yes. I believe they're filming it right now. Well, they had a panel at New York Comic Con, and this is courtesy of io9.gizmodo.com. Barbara was the surprise hit of Stranger Things, with tons of Barbettes wanting the shunned BFF to seek her vengeance in Season 2 of the hit Netflix series. Well, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Stranger Things stars Millie Bobby Brown, who played 11, and David Harbour, who played Chief Hopper, had a panel at New York Comic Con, and they said that Barbara would not be returning.
Sad day.
It is, but I think given what happened, I think it's the right route to go. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much see that she's dead.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that. I mean, you're not Lazarus. But, I think that if they would have brought her back, that would have taken way too much attention off of other things that are going to be going on in season 2. And, they want to keep your focus on what's going on and not be like, oh, you want Barb back? Here she is.
Yeah.
I think if there was a viable way they could have brought her back, then maybe that would have been okay. But with us clearly seeing that the monster had killed her, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to get into spoilers anyway, but also the focus needs to be, where is 11? What's happened with Will since he's been in the Upside Down world? Because there were a lot of teasers for what they could do for season 2, and I think they need to focus on that and not bringing Barbara back. Maybe if they brought her back for like a flashback and just bring the actress back, that could be kind of cool, and that would be a way that you could satisfy all the Barbettes.
You get the best of both worlds, as Miley Cyrus once sung.
And Van Hagar.
I was going with something that would annoy people more, because that's my thing.
I know a lot of people hate Van Hagar, especially those the diehard Van Halen fans.
You're right.
Yeah. Something else that happened, Justice League Dark. This is something I love DC animation.
Yeah.
So I am really, really excited.
And
about
this has your boy Constantine in it.
It does.
You scroll down and it should show you pictures, unless you're on a different one than I am.
This is courtesy of IGN. At the New York Comic-Con Justice League Dark panel, director Jay Oliva talked about how the new animated supernatural superhero movie, try saying that 5 times fast,
Yeah, good luck,
was inspired by Harry Potter, the Final Fantasy video games, and the Full Metal Alchemist anime. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I was inspired by a lot of the magic I watched in a lot of my old video games. I was also inspired by things like Full Metal Alchemist. I take a lot of the things that I love and throw them into the DCU and come up with something new. So we know that magic is going to be involved. We've got Constantine, we've got Zatanna. So magic's definitely going to be there.
Yeah, and what he talked about going back with, I want to say it was, Full Metal Alchemist and Final Fantasy, is everybody's magic is usually like a different color. Like Constantine's green, Zatanna's is like either a white or a blue sometimes, and the demons is usually red or something like that. And that's what he's trying to pull in from all of these different shows, is to how to best present magic, because we've seen magic done in movies and cartoons and stuff like that, and it looks horrible. So at least Oliva is trying to figure out a way to best bring out the magic for Justice League Dark that's going to make everything look really well and look really clean and polished, because we don't want this to be crap. Because I know I haven't watched the Constantine show. You have, and you loved him. But I've watched a lot of shows that had Zatanna in it, and she was awesome. So, I mean, I'm hoping this does well.
When I think of Zatanna, I always think of the Smallville incarnation, because she was in several episodes of that. One cool thing about this, Matt Ryan, who played Constantine, and
not the quarterback,
will be at Pensacon in February, which I'm very excited for. He said that he is down to play more Constantine in whatever form that may take, whether it be on Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, or another animated feature. Did you see his appearance on Arrow? Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that was the highlight of that whole season.
Oh yeah, it was just so cool with him coming in, giving him the magic brand or whatever, and just his character in general was cool.
I was hoping that they would make him a regular in season 2 of Legends, but it looks like they're going with the exact same cast.
Yeah.
Which kind of was contrary to what was originally reported. They said that it would be a rotating cast.
Yeah.
Like, my hope was they would have Constantine, maybe the Wally West incarnation of the Flash, and a few other new people, like minor characters that you can introduce in Flash, Arrow, and now even Supergirl, and bring them into Legends of Tomorrow. But
it would have been cool, but we'll have to kind of see what they're planning on doing with that show, because, at this point, they had so many options that they could go with.
And I think that as much as I would love to see Matt Ryan appear again in Arrow, with the direction they're going with the show, I don't know if it would be a good fit.
Because they're trying to get away from more of the magic stuff now, and bringing Constantine in would be like, oh, look, more magic.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see it.
oh, yeah.
What would be interesting is if Constantine appeared on The Flash.
Ooh.
Because he is completely different from the tone of that show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he fits with Arrow.
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
tone of it, but Flash would be very interesting.
I wonder how they would play off of each other. That would be my biggest question of how Constantine and Barry Allen would, if they would mesh, or would they kind of be
Yeah.
at odds with each other. So that would be.
Yeah.
If you notice, I blanked because I forgot both their names there for a second.
No, it's all good.
Still kind of.
You recovered, though.
I did really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, it is pretty early. Nostalgia stuff.
Whew.
First, we'll get to that in a second. Legends of the Hidden Temple.
You psyched me out, Derek.
There's a movie coming out. I did. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Legends of the Hidden Temple. Loved the show
Oh
as
my
a
God,
kid.
yeah.
I always wanted to be on it. I always wanted the Blue Barracudas to win. They never would.
No.
They'd be lucky if they made it past the moat. They announced a while back that they're doing a TV movie.
Mm-hmm.
A trailer came out about a month or two ago, and it was okay. I mean, it looked kind of like your typical kids' TV movie.
Yeah.
But 2 days ago, they dropped another one.
Trailer number Doso.
And boy, does it look good.
Yeah, it definitely stepped up in a big way from the first one. You had the Green Monkey. I mean, you had there are just so many things that are so iconic to the show back in the day that you got to see in this trailer. And I mean, the acting doesn't look bad from the kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this is going to be really fun, especially for the people our age who are like so wrapped up in nostalgia right now that it's not even funny.
I feel like the first trailer was made for kids who
Yeah.
currently watch Nickelodeon, and this one was made for us, the ones who grew up watching it. Because you see, like, the Shrine of the Silver Monkey, you see the kids getting chased by a red jaguar, the temple guards come to life, one of the kids throws the Pendant of Life in a door and is able to go through it, and then the ending, when you see Olmec, and he says, "The choice is yours."
Ugh.
And he sounds exactly the same as he did from the show. I got chills. I'm not going to lie.
Right now, with so many things that are coming back from our childhood, this is one of the ones that what was, for me, very unexpected. Because I expected this to really never come back.
Yeah.
And to know that it has made its way back is mind-boggling, because I just cannot wait to go out and watch it now. Like that, Power Rangers, so many different things that I want to see.
Well, speaking of Power Rangers, the first trailer finally came out at New York Comic Con. It actually was released early.
Yeah.
It was supposed to premiere during their panel, but someone from Lionsgate jumped the gun and put it online early. This, I am very, very excited for.
Especially seeing the part where, in the original Power Rangers, they all they got were suits, so they could take a shot better, but they didn't have any like superpowers or anything like this one. You saw once they got their gems or whatever, the coins or whatever you want to call
the
it.
power coins.
You saw he was able to bust through the sink, and they jumped a freaking canyon and stuff like that. And they're still going to have martial arts training and stuff like that. But I just think that everything looked so cool. It's so much darker feeling than, and not darker in like a bad way, but more of like a gritty feel to it.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that movie Chronicle a little bit, like the look of it. And also with the scenes in the high school, a little bit of Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched the trailer multiple times now. I think the fact that it seems similar to the show. I mean, you've got the same named characters and everything, which I think was the right thing to do. Because I remember on one of the old episodes we talked about how it was going to be a continuation, and it was going to be the original Rangers giving the new ones their powers, which would have been kind of cool to see them. But I think just straight up going with a reboot, I think, is the way to go.
It would work.
What little bit of action scenes we saw I think looked really good.
Yeah.
I personally like Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. It's kind of funny because it seems like every time Power Rangers news comes out, I'm not on the show. But I've been a fan of hers from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I've liked her outfit and everything, which I have a theory on, because she has 2 different outfits. I think with one of them, the main one we've seen her in with the armor and everything, I think she uses the green power coin for it.
I can see that.
And at the end, we'll get a tease of the Green Ranger.
Ooh.
To me, the perfect way to end this movie would be the kids go back to high school, and there's this martial arts competition going on, and they meet Tommy Oliver.
Oh,
And that's how you end the movie.
that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Miss Banks. I wasn't a huge fan of her at the beginning, but she's been one of those things that have kind of grown on me. Just like the more armored looking power suits that they got. I mean, wasn't huge on those at the beginning, but everything's kind of, I'm seeing things kind of like in new light right now. Seeing everything, because I felt like I was just clinging on to too much of what the old show was. And I love the old show, but like going back right now, all of that's like really outdated, and like the power armor type thing that they have now is a better way to go. It looks cooler, it's more sleek, and I guess people enjoy seeing that more now than what they would with the older costumes. But I'm anything that they're doing right now, everything that I'm hearing, super excited about this trailer. Just kind of up the ante for me, so I'm just ready for this to come out and watch it.
And I like that it's got a nice mix of new cast and veterans. Like, the veterans to me are in the perfect role. Like, you've got Bryan Cranston as Zordon, which is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Banks is Rita Repulsa, which I think is great. They recently announced that Bill Hader is going to be the voice of Alpha 5, which I think is a good choice.
Yeah.
Just confirmed, I think I read this morning, but Goldar,
Yeah.
Rita's number 1 guy,
Handyman.
is going to be in this movie.
Ugh.
I'm a big Goldar fan, even when he was a little bit of a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what they do with him.
I am too. I think that they could do a lot with that character, especially with, Rita Repulsa being such a big deal. And, they fought Goldar all the time in the show. So
He would always escape right before the Megazord would throw that sword down.
So, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with him. I hope they don't mess him up. I don't think they will, because they seem to be doing a really good job so far. So,
I'm hoping they don't do too much for this movie. Like, I would bring Zed in,
yeah.
but it would be in the second one, or maybe even the third one. Like, say the
Yeah.
second one can be about Rita and the Green Ranger.
So when do we see Ooze?
Hopefully never.
Kidding.
The Ooze is back. That was so terrible. I actually watched a top 10 video of worst movie villains of all time, and he was on it. Deservedly so.
My Tango Warriors.
That he made out of his snot. But no, what I would do is I would have the second one be Rita recruits Tommy.
Yeah.
And the Green Ranger's the primary villain.
That would be
And
a
then
good
the
one.
third one is when you bring Zed in, and he kind of overthrows Rita and takes over.
I think that would be a good like timeline thing that's starting right there.
Yeah,
Because everybody wants to see the Green Ranger.
yeah.
That's like the biggest thing right now is who's.
Even though the White Ranger's better.
I agree. I 100% agree. Zach will disagree with us.
I mean, he had a talking sword.
Saba. Saba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the White Tiger was pretty awesome. I mean, the Dragon Sword's great too, but
Yeah.
to me, that White Tiger, when you see it like running across the field and then it can transform into battle mode,
Oh yeah.
so awesome.
I mean, even the White Ranger's like ninja outfit was cool, and he had
Yeah.
the Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Psh,
You can't beat a Falcon.
no, man.
Well, I mean, unless you're 31 other NFL teams.
You're
And
right.
even though,
oh, Jake.
well, they're doing good now, but they have to go to Denver, and I
I
don't
know.
think things are going to go very well
I
for
hope
them.
not.
Same here.
But anyway.
But yeah, no, I'm really excited for this movie.
As am
I hope they do another trailer. I'm sure they will
Yeah.
because it comes out, I think, in March.
They'd have to.
Let's see. Let me see if there's a release date here. No, it just says 2017. All right. So, kind of going along with the Power Rangers thing, not only is there a new movie, but there is a new video game
Oh.
coming out soon. If you love retro arcade beat 'em up type games, this is the game for you. This is from Comic Book Movie. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are coming back in a big way next year, as in they're not just getting a movie and more comics, but also a brand new video game for the PS4 and Xbox One. There is a comic book series out too, which I've heard is pretty good.
I haven't read them, but I've heard good things.
Let's see. Oh, the movie, it does come out in March 2017.
Okay.
The game is titled Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mega Battle and will be available on both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, making it the first Power Rangers game to arrive on current-gen systems and the first game based solely on the original and most iconic team of Rangers to arrive in stores in over a decade. There's no exact release date just yet, but it's expected to hit stores in America in January of 2017. The game is a classic beat-em-up, which should bring back fond memories for 90s kids of the 1994 Sega game based on the original TV series, and its 95 semi-sequel based on the movie. The new game will follow the first team consisting of Jason, Trini, Billy, Kimberly, Zach, and Tommy through various reimagined missions set during the first 2 seasons of the series. The trailer is really cool. I mean, the art style, the way it looks is exactly like an old arcade type game where you have, just still shots and text for cutscenes. I'm getting this game when it comes out.
I am too. Like, I was even going to mention the Sega game that came out. I'm glad that they did. That's the one that I spent so much time on my Sega playing. Like, I'm surprised I didn't burn a hole in that game playing it so much. I mean, it was one of those side scrollers too, where you would just walk around and you would beat up putties and different villains. My favorite thing of all is whenever you'd finally beat a putty and you'd punch him and like it would blow up into like the little pieces, kind of like they did when Zed came and put the Z on them.
It was the Z.
Yeah, I mean it was a great game. And now that I'm not saying it's a like remastered or anything, but like a whole nother continuation type thing of this game coming out, bringing back the Power Rangers, being able to play the game on my Xbox One. That's going to be what's going to... I will drop every game that I have right now to play that game.
You know what the putty said whenever you hit them?
What do they say? Oh, the putties.
I wonder if we'll see the putties in the movie.
Part of me is like, bring them in, but then part of me is like, do you really want to bring them in?
Like, yeah, bring them in.
No, second thought.
Yeah.
They shoot one and they're like, and they're like, maybe this was a bad idea.
Yeah. You cut the putties, cut them, get them offset. No, this game, I'm a huge fan of the classic Ninja Turtles arcade game. Spent so many hours playing it at Chuck E. Cheese back in the day. Downloaded it for the 360, played through it there. I actually found a game that's similar to it. It's kind of like a sequel to it called Turtles in Time that I had for the Super Nintendo. Well, I've been rebuilding my old collection, and I went to the store in Pensacola called Marty's Collectibles, and they had a mint copy of that game. So I had to pay a little bit to get it, but it was a game that I really wanted. Yeah. So, got that, played it. Such a good nostalgia trip. And actually, I also found the Power Rangers game for Super Nintendo.
Really?
It was the same one because they would always release the same games for SNES and Genesis. Mm-hmm. And I found that at a flea market in Mobile a couple of months ago, and it was like $4.
Wow.
And that was just so much fun. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about all the nostalgia that's coming back. I mean, some people... you can say it's rehashing and rebooting, but if you have a sentimental attachment to it, I think, like, we both grew up huge Power Rangers fans. So we're definitely gonna play this game. We're gonna go see the movie. That's even why, like, I know the new Ninja Turtles movies weren't that great, but I was still looking forward to them just because part of that just makes you feel like a kid again.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can still remember going to the theater, and this was the first movie I ever saw in theaters, the original Ninja Turtles movie, the one that came out in 1990.
Such a good one.
It is. It's still the best Ninja Turtles movie, in my opinion.
I gotta say it was the second one only because of Go Ninja,
Go Ninja, Go! The second one was very good, too.
Yeah. Third one was top of the line. Come on.
Maybe not. I will say that CG one that came out, I think it was like 2006 or 2007. It had Patrick Stewart as the voice of the villain. It wasn't the
Okay.
Shredder, but it was someone else. That one wasn't terrible. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't that great, but it wasn't terrible either. It was. I'd give it like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. But kind of going off the nostalgia train, we did have a couple of games come out this week. We had Gears
Gears of War
4?
Yeah, Gears of War 4 came out. They even have a filter on Snapchat that I played with. I got to become Marcus Phoenix. I had the do-rag on. I had the scar right here.
No Coltrane?
No. It tried to give me a beard, but my beard defeated the beard that they were going to give me on Snapchat. But I haven't played it yet. I should be getting my digital copy because game sharing with people is so much fun because when someone buys a game digitally, you get that game for free.
Really?
So I'm getting Gears 4 for free.
Nice.
I should be getting it either tonight or tomorrow, so I will probably be playing through the campaign and everything. But I've had friends, Justice and Eric Trevino have played through it. It looks amazing. Everything that you could possibly want in a Gears of War game is in this Gears game. You get to see so many different things going on in this game. You got new enemies to fight. You get new weapons. I mean, you're getting some of the good old weapons where you chainsaw the crap out of people. But this game, beautiful. I can't wait to get my hands on it and just go to town.
Yeah, I've never played the Gears games, but I have watched cutscenes
Yeah.
on YouTube. Coltrane is awesome.
Oh yeah.
I think if they ever made a Gears movie, I could see Terry Crews
Oh, yeah.
playing Coltrane.
Oh, yeah,
like
definitely.
he'd be the perfect person, I think.
I don't think anybody could portray Coltrane like he could.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people are excited about it. I know Zach's really excited
Yeah.
about it. He's a huge Gears fan.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be excited to hear what you guys think of it
Oh yeah.
in the coming weeks.
Like I said, I can't wait to play it. We've also had Mafia 3 come out.
Mm-hmm.
It came out on the 7th. Never been a huge Mafia fan, so I probably won't be getting this one unless my game share friend buys it, because I'm not. But I've heard really good things about it. There's the controversial mission where you can go in and kill the Ku Klux Klan.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are apparently having fun with that. Don't know much about it. I know you're the mafia. You're in the time frame of when racism is at its finest,
Right.
which is idiotic. But if you like those type of games, it kind of gives me the oh my gosh, the game. What is it? You played it on PlayStation. It was Vice City.
Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto. Dear Lord.
It's all right.
It kind of has that feel of that game to me, and that's the game. I've never been really big into those games.
Mm-hmm.
So like when it comes to Mafia and stuff like that, I mean, I'm kind of on the same boat as it. So not my cup of tea, but a lot of people who I've talked to who have already been playing Mafia is big into it. So if that's a game that you're interested in, get it. Just because it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean it's not yours.
Absolutely.
So
Shall we get into the Facebook questions?
I think we should.
All right. Every week we go to our awesome Facebook group, which you can find on Facebook, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Just search for Nerd Cave. You'll find us there. All kinds of cool discussions throughout the week. I always look forward, like whenever I get a notification that says so-and-so posted in Nerd Cave, I always read it. Like I don't always respond to it, but I always read what everyone puts in there. Just because having something like this is really cool.
Oh, yeah. You get all kinds of news articles throughout the day that people post. Not just me, Derek, and Zach, but you have people daily posting different stuff that we miss. People like Derek Daniel or, somebody else will come in right behind us and fill in our gaps.
Which, speaking of Derek Daniel, he is our first question.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so since Zach won't be recording, I want to hear your impressions of the Flash and Arrow premieres, even though I already talked to you, Derek. We did talk about both Flash and Arrow over Facebook Messenger. But you go first. What were your thoughts on the Flash premiere? We'll start with Flash.
I felt like it kind of started off kind of like at a slow pace for me, but it definitely got better and better and better. And what was funny is Reverse Flash is like, now who's the bad guy, Flash? And it like resonated. I was like, ooh. I was like, that's tough. And to see what Barry Allen had to give up in order to go back to how things were, where his mom was his dad and his dad was just killed, was so rough. And then to see what the Reverse Flash did to just ruin everything, which, spoiler alert, I mean, if you don't...
I mean, will be some mild spoilers in this for those who haven't seen the previous seasons, so on and so forth.
Like when he asks Joe, so how is... What's her name?
Iris.
Dear Lord, help me today. The radio show is going to be horrible.
That'll be all right.
It'll be all right. But whenever he was like, how's Iris? And he was like, I will chalk it up to you being upset and everything. And I was like...
what happened?
I was like, did she die?
That's what I thought, too.
I was like, son. I was like, poor Barry. He just couldn't get a break. But I did kind of like where the show, kind of went. Like, with Flashpoint, I'm happy they didn't kind of just stay in that alternate timeline, because that would have affected... I would have liked to have seen it affect Arrow and then, everything else. But with them coming back, I don't know... I mean, the next episode's name is Paradox, so they might go back to that time. He might try to go back and try to correct all of it and try to get Iris back into the fold with everybody.
It's interesting you say that, because I had kind of the opposite view on it. I was disappointed that universe ended so abruptly. I was hoping that it would last until the 4-part crossover with Legends, Arrow, and Supergirl, and that's when everything is set back to normal. To me, you took the biggest storyline that the Flash has ever had, and you just do it in one episode. It's a one and done type thing. I mean, I get what you're saying, that it would have affected all the other shows, but I would have been interested to see how it affected all the shows.
That would have been definitely interesting.
To me, like, in Flashpoint Paradox, the animated movie, spoiler alert, but Bruce Wayne dies and Thomas Wayne becomes Batman. I think it would have been awesome if Oliver had died and Robert Queen, his dad, became the Green Arrow.
That would have been cool.
That would have been a really cool dynamic. Like, he would have taken the Thomas Wayne role. And you still could have had, like, some of the other, good guys just be in different scenarios. But the fact that the universe was still affected, I think we will see that trickle into the other shows. I think it'll be very subtle. But I think it is something that will happen.
Yeah.
Overall, like, I thought the episode was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a solid season premiere, but I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed with it. Like, I was expecting a little bit more.
I definitely could see where people would be kind of upset with how abruptly it ended, but I mean, I feel like, even with it ending so abruptly, like you said, I think there's still going to be changes throughout, obviously with Iris, but I feel like maybe what if the Reverse Flash left us a few more little surprises down the road? We don't really know. Which,
speaking of the Reverse Flash, I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays the real Reverse Flash, not the Tom Cavanaugh version, he is really growing on me. Like, that was his best performance as the Reverse Flash, which I think the fact that it was originally Tom Cavanaugh that we saw, I think kind of affected that, because we had that expectation because of how good he did.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, this isn't Tom Cavanaugh, I'm not interested. But he did really, really well. He was my favorite part of that entire episode.
He did play a huge part, and like I said, my favorite part was when he was like, who's the bad guy now? Or however he said it. I can't remember the exact...
Who's the villain now, Flash?
There we go. When he said that, like I said, it stuck with me, and I was like, ooh. Because you do see Barry has locked him up, kind of like what Zoom was doing with everybody. He was being selfish about, correcting all the things that have happened to him and not worrying about what it's done to everybody else. Because as you saw in this Flash World 2.0, we'll call it, Joe was a drunk. Everything except for his life was better, but everybody else kind of took a
Yeah.
a spiral downward. I mean, he did start, reconnecting with Iris a little bit, but in the end, it was all for him,
Yeah.
and that's where you saw him come, not becoming the villain, but where it kind of resonated with you when he said, "Who's the villain now?"
Yeah.
So,
As far as Arrow goes, I'm just going to say this.
it was very well done.
Loved it.
Very well
Loved
done.
everything about it.
Like,
It was paced perfectly. The story was great. It was never boring. Like, I never looked away from
No.
the screen. I didn't look at my phone or anything when I was watching it. Felicity was not annoying, as she has kind of become
In the
in
the
the last couple of seasons. Oliver was back to being that early season Oliver. The show was based more around him, which I think, with him having a team and everything, he kind of got lost in the shuffle. Like, to me, Arrow was its best when it was just Ollie, Diggle, and Felicity.
Yeah.
Just those three. Felicity, is on the computer, and Diggle and Ollie are out in the field.
Like, I think bringing in a new team, I think they're going to kind of fix the balance. I think it's going to be more focused on him, and then the other ones are going to be kind of just fillers. But the way they did this one was awesome. Like you said, they didn't focus on the Felicity and Oliver lovers.
They
quarrel.
briefly touched on it.
Yeah.
Because Oliver was like, so, is there a chance? And Felicity's like, don't count on it. And that was it.
Have you started to dislike Felicity? Because every when I saw her with that other man, I was like, oh, you hoe. I was like, I'll get
In
angry.
Oliver's apartment.
I know. I was like, I just want to go on screen and just and slap a hoe.
Yeah. And exactly.
I'm like, come on. I was like, what are you thinking?
That was kind of a surprise to me.
It
And then
was.
the villain we saw at the end with the mask, and it looks like he's in the Green Arrow outfit. I think his name's Prometheus.
Yeah.
He's going to be the primary villain of this whole thing. It just felt like early old school Arrow, and that was perfect.
And you saw him kill again.
You did. You did.
And it was really funny. They're like, they kidnapped him and two other people trying to lure out the Green Arrow. He's like, I can already tell you the Green Arrow is not going to show up. And I was like, because you are the Green Arrow. So, well done to the director and everything, because this is where we wanted Arrow to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited that it is back to where it's at.
Yeah, Arrow definitely won this week, in my opinion. I think Flash will get better, but I'm just so excited to see where Arrow goes.
Yeah.
I really am. Next question from Justice Garcia. Can I wear Uggs for men now that Tom Brady wears them?
This is the time to be your biggest white girl. You got the pumpkin spice. You got the cooler weather. So, Justice, if you want to go out and wear Uggs for men, by all means, go for it. I, per se, will not be joining you, but I will join you in spirit. Because I'm still recovering from a pumpkin spice trying challenge from last night, and so I feel like I'm white girling it up with you. So I'm there with you in spirit.
I'm all for Justice wearing Uggs.
Go for it.
Because you know what? Tom Brady is pretty successful, and if he endorses Uggs,
Then you should. Go
I mean,
for it.
a part of me despises him, but he's so adorable.
He is. He's the league's MVP.
He is.
My MVP. I hate him too, but he's still good.
I hate him, but
He's charismatic.
Yeah, I respect every
Oh, yeah.
accomplishment. I mean, if I could be one person for a day, Tom Brady might be that person. Because,
Oh, yeah.
You're an all-pro quarterback, possibly the greatest ever. You have a supermodel wife. You have more money than you know what to do with. I thought it was hilarious that people were making such a big deal about him sunbathing nude in Italy. And I'm like, well, it's not like he can play football.
Yeah.
Because he can't be associated with the team in any way. What else is he supposed to do?
That's horrible.
I mean, if I were him, I'd sunbathe
Yeah.
nude everywhere.
Oh,
I'd do
yeah.
it in public.
Hey, I walking down the street. What up?
Yeah, exactly.
In his Uggs.
Yeah.
Gotta protect the feet though.
Yeah. Uggs are super comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
I've tried them on. They're very, very
I've
comfortable.
never tried them on.
You're missing out. Let's see. Adam Gumbert, I'll be contributing soon. Sorry, Adam.
Apparently not, because
Yeah.
you have not posted.
I will say shout out to him and Nick. We started our wrestling podcast last week. Went
Yeah.
very well. You can check that out every Thursday on iTunes, soon to be on other podcasting platforms. But yeah, it's me, Adam Gumbert, and Nick Caputo, and we talk about wrestling. So
Nice.
it's the first episode went very well, and I think it's only going to get even better. Our last question comes from Nick Vikinghorn Caputo. I was plotting this last week. You've watched a show for years. They announce it's the last season. Then comes the last episode, and it's horrible. What's the worst finale you've ever watched?
Ooh.
I don't know if this is the worst I've ever seen, but I can tell you the finale I was the most disappointed with, and that would be House.
That is a really good one.
I loved House. House is like top 3 all-time favorite show for me. Love that character. Love the supporting roles. I really liked like his original team with Chase, Foreman, and Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all of them. None of them got on my nerves.
No.
And I think the show, first of all, I think it went a little too long. I think they should have ended it a season earlier than what they did. And it seems like they kind of just ran out of stuff to do. And then the finale was just, most of it was a hallucination where House was in like a burning building and he's seeing like previous main characters who have died and they're all talking to him.
Yeah.
And then he fakes his death and goes off with Wilson. And I'm just like, like it really had no closure for really anybody.
No. I agree. I watched House religiously. I mean, I remember us talking back and forth about House all the time. And for it being such a great show and it being such a big part of, I know, both of our lives, when it ended like that, we were just like, really?
Yeah.
That's how you chose to end, a great TV show. And mine would be Scrubs.
Yeah.
The last season, I think it's season 9 of Scrubs, was just...
If they had ended it with season 8, it would have been perfect.
Perfect. I mean, they had, there was a few things left unanswered, but it would have been way better than what they gave us with the entirety of season 9 for me.
Yeah.
I'm going back. Like, once I get done with a show, I'll fall back to either 3 shows, and that's Scrubs, House, or I can't remember my last one. But anyway, I've been rewatching Scrubs on once I finish another show, and I'm on season 7 right now, and I'm like,
nice.
do I want to stop at season 8, or do I want to just push through and get through season 9 again? So
I'd stop at 8.
I probably would too.
It ends in a perfect way. I did the same thing. I just finished watching through Cheers again.
So good.
It is a very good show. But yeah, House would be mine. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are others that
yeah.
I haven't thought of, but that's the first one that comes out to mind.
Yeah. That and Scrubs for me.
Yeah. I believe that's it.
Yeah.
For all the questions. So, do you have anything else, my friend?
I'm ready to go.
All right. So, why don't you tell everybody about where they can find us on social media?
Guys, we are all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, the Twitter, all under Nerd Cave. Just search us. We'll be there. We're usually trying to engage in great conversations with everybody. So, be sure to talk to us. We would love to hear from you guys.
You can also check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/nerdcave. If you want early access to all of our content, be it this podcast, all the other podcasts that we do, you can support us there. You can look on the right side of the screen and you'll see all the different tiers. If you can't support us, we totally understand. This is just a way for you to get early access to all of our content. But if you're interested, be sure to check out patreon.com/nerdcave.
If you can't, just share some of our videos. That helps a lot.
Yeah, word of mouth is still the best way to get content out. We have all other kinds of podcasts that we do throughout the week. Every Monday we have Nerd Cave Retro. Wednesday is our fantasy football show, Fantasy Football for Nerds. Thursday is both the Derek Diamond Experience and Battle of the Brands, the new wrestling podcast we have. Every Friday this show drops, the Nerd Cave podcast, and on Saturdays we have our friends over at the Pop Culture Palette. Anything else, my friend?
If you are a big fan of fantasy football, in about
20 minutes.
20 minutes, we will be doing our fantasy football radio show that we are affiliated with Fox Sports Radio. We'll be doing that. You can listen if you're in the area, 1490 AM. If you're not, you can listen via our website, 1490fsr.com, or you can listen via the TuneIn app. You just search for 1490 Fox Sports Radio. Or we have an app that is for Apple only for now until we get Android set up, but it's 1490 FSR as well. So be sure to give us a listen and let us know what you think.
Absolutely. Anything else, my friend?
I believe that is it.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to episode 179 of the Nerd Cave podcast. This has been Derek.
And Robbie.
Have a week.